What's good, everybody? So I just got done looking at Infinity Pool, and let me just tell you this: this film is is interesting, and it definitely takes you on a wild ride. You know, so I wouldn't say it's a good movie. It's not a bad movie. It's just interesting. It's one of those wild ride movies. You have some of those movies that just take you on a ride, and that's what this does. The film stars Alexander Skarsgård, Mia Goth, and Cleopatra Coleman, if I'm saying that correctly. And what it the film takes place as Cleopatra Coleman and Alexander Skarsgård are this couple that goes to this resort. They on vacation. They have a good time. They come across Mia Goth and this her guy, and then they introduce them to this crazy things that they start doing. And from there on, the film takes you, like I said, takes you on this ride. And there's a lot of interesting, kind of crazy shit that they're doing up in here, but it definitely keeps you interested in the film, that you want to know what's going to happen. What's going on? Why is this happening? Why is this happening? Also, there's a scene in here where there's a lot of bright lights, these different color lights that's flashing. So when you guys go see the movie, be prepared for that. But it's directed by Cronenberg, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm saying the guy's correct name correctly, hold on. Brandon Cronenberg is directed by him, and the story one. Let's start one with the story. The story, it started out as okay, interesting story. This couple goes on this vacation. They meet this new couple, and the first thing you thinking is like, okay, maybe they're murderers. They're probably on the doing some black market shit, because it takes place in another country. And we already know how it is when you have these movies where people go to these other countries and all type of crazy shit start happening. You know, so that's the first thing that you thinking. But it definitely went left. So, and that's one of the things I like about the film, because even though you were thinking it was going to go this way, it went a completely different route, where you would sit in the theater like, okay, that's different, but you still wanted to know what was going on. So it was um momentarily, well, let me take that back. Not momentarily. There was some things that happened in the film that kind of left you a little confused, because you didn't know what was happening. And even at the end of the film, you still kind of in that wondering mind state, like, okay, what just happened? What was going on? I'm trying to understand it. So this is one of those films that you may have to see it twice, just to kind of understand what's going on and what's happening. And I wouldn't necessarily say it's a horror film. It's more of one of these psychological suspense films, you know. And the thing about this film, well, I'm gonna just say this film, but overall, so far, the last couple of years, we've been getting a new breed of horror films and suspense films that's been coming out, that has been totally different than what we used to seeing. Different from the Michael Myers, the Friday the 13th, the Screams, all that. We've been getting some films that you just be like, okay, this looks interesting, is different, but it has my curiosity to want to know what's going on. And one of those films was The Menu that if you guys haven't seen the menu, I recommend you check out the menu. It's a good film. I did a video about that, so when you get a chance, check that out. And now we have this, and then not only that, before that, before the menu, we had Pearl and we had X. Then we had another film called The Watcher. So if you haven't seen The Watcher, that's another good film. And then we had what was the other one? Men that came out. That was another one that just took you on a ride. So we've been getting a lot of interesting horror films that's been coming out that has been in a class by themselves by some very visual directors who are not doing the same thing that people are used to or that people want to see. And I love that because we need that coming in instead of the same old, okay, this person is an ex murderer. He's going to chase him in the woods, or this person's going to do this, person's going to do that. They're coming in, these directors and these writers are coming in saying, hey, let's be in a class by ourselves. Let's bring something different to the table. Let's bring something that people want to see. Even though people may think it's kind of weird, they may not get it at first, they may have to check it out again, but it's still interesting that it gets you to tune in. It's still interesting that it gets the conversation going. And it's interesting that you want to tell somebody about it, whether you like it or not. It spreads the conversation. And when people tell you something about things, especially like about a film where they say, okay, it was weird, it was this, it was that, and they may say, okay, that's what I thought about it, but you just have to see it and come up with your own results about it. So this is one of those films that you would just have to see and check it out. Now, if you guys like films that's different, that takes you on a ride, that have your that has your mind wondering and curiosity at an all-time high, then this is one of those films that I definitely say you should check out. Mia Goth is excellent in this film. Alexander Skarsgård, whatever you see him doing something, when you see him or one of the Skarsgård brothers, period, when they doing something, they always deliver 100%. Cleopatra Jones as Alexander Skarsgård's wife, she does a great job. So a lot of people in the film, they really delivered on this film. You know, I didn't see where they dropped the ball at all. You know, the writing, the cinematography, the storyline, it all went together because it's one of those it's a weird film. So when you can connect all those together, it works. And that's one of the things that I always say is that, in order for a film or a television show to work, you got to have a storyline. You got to have an interesting, you got to have a good storyline that's going to hook the audience. Because if you can't hook the audience, it's not going to work. So overall, my review and my score for Infinity Pool on a level low, medium, high, I'm going to give this film a medium. Because there's a few things in here that I didn't like, but overall, I still say it's a good film. It's one of those films that if you're looking for something crazy to watch, something interesting, there's one of those films you can do that. Um, it's definitely one of those films that if you and your girl or you and your guy wants to try or see something different, this is definitely one of those films that would do it for you. So you're gonna leave out the theater with your minds wandering, going to start conversations, and that conversation to the car and at home. But overall, you won't be disappointed. So if you guys are going to check out Infinity Pool, let me know what you thought about it. And until then, stay tuned.